Group mediumship events are not random, they're not performative, and they're definitely not what people think they are. Because what actually happens in these rooms is an event that's structural, intentional, and for a group of people, it's an experience that becomes a turning point in their grief. And it's very misunderstood. The spiritual world will tell you one thing, all right? Skeptics will tell you a whole nother thing. And then most people are left somewhere in the middle, confused, but what even is group mediumship? So let's talk about it. Welcome to the Healing with Amber channel. I'm Amber, a licensed grief therapist and evidential medium. I help BIPOC, which stands for Black, Indigenous people of color, specifically women, move out of hopelessness in their grief into a life of functionality and meaning, using both clinical tools and spiritual understanding, all right? So now, if you've been looking for real conversations about grief that doesn't dismiss your spiritual experiences, hit that subscribe and like button now, because this is the environment here on this channel where we're gonna be real and honest, all right? Today, we're talking about something that people don't explain clearly: what group mediumship events are and where they come from, and what's actually happening during what is known as platform mediumship work. To understand group mediumship, we need to understand a modern spiritualism. Now, modern spiritualism developed in the 1800s, and at its core, it developed one idea that's disrupted everything. It's that communication with those who have passed on is actually possible. It's not symbolic nor imagined, but direct. Folks didn't just want to believe, they wanted evidence, which is understandable. So mediumship evolved into something very specific: evidential communication, which means that the medium provides details, memories, personality traits, information that can be validated, not just vague messages, because we don't do that here. I learned mediumship development through a spiritualist church about 16 years ago, and it's a continued development, okay? Just like my clinical skills, I have my mediumship skills that need to be developed as well, okay? So despite what you might have heard about frauds during seances back in the 1900s, mediumship provides evidence because it's ethical practice, just like my clinical work, all right? So if you want me to break down the difference between evidential mediumship and intuitive readings, comment teach me and I'll make a video about it, all right? But now let's talk about platform mediumship. Platform mediumship happens in group settings. One medium, multiple participants, and a shared energetic space. The medium connects with spirit and delivers messages publicly. But here's what most people don't understand. The goal is not to impress. The goal is to provide evidence. Evidence that looks like describing the person in spirit, sharing specific life details, referencing memories that the sitter or recipient can recognize, because recognition creates trust and that creates space for healing. All right. Now, I host an event called an Intimate Evening with Spirit, which is a group mediumship event. I host this event virtually and in person. I facilitated this event starting in 2017, I believe, and have conducted in-person events in the Sacramento and surrounding areas. If you would like to join my email list, which is also listed on my Substack, please join me there, all right? By joining my email list, you'll be the first to receive information about upcoming events such as an Intimate Evening with Spirit. You can find that link down in the description box. So what's really happening in this space? All right, so from the outside, it looks like a medium speaking, okay? People are responding, messages are being delivered, but internally, there's a lot more going on. From a mediumship perspective, my perspective, I'm receiving impressions, images, sensations, emotions, and a sense of knowing when I work with spirit. From a psychological perspective, everyone in that room is in a different state of grief. A spectrum presents as some are hopeful, some are guarded, and some are overwhelmed. Yet, when the connection happens, it can create emotional release, validation, and a sense of continued bond. Definitely not closure, okay? Now, if you've ever felt your loved one's presence, whether it's in a dream or a moment that you simply just could not understand, I want you to comment, "I felt that," down below, because you're not alone in that, okay? And here's something important. If you don't receive a direct message, healing can still happen, because witnessing connections can also activate your own connection, okay? Now, before I talk about misconceptions about group mediumship, I want to highlight the Arthur Findlay College, okay? So here in the United States, there's more There's more prevalence on, or relevance on, focusing on the continuing changes called like continuing life after death, basically, right? So evidence-based. And there's like a parameter around it, versus at the Arthur Findlay College in the UK, it's way more expansive and way more open. I took a course there at the Arthur Findlay College, which I did do a vlog about it. So if you want to check it out, it'll be right here. I attended a 7-day course of advanced mediumship, and it was phenomenal. If you're a medium and you're watching this, let me know if you've been to the AFC, okay? Because training is important. It is important when doing this work. Just like I compare it to my clinical skills, you have to develop, okay? I was born with innate abilities, but it wasn't until I decided to develop my abilities in order to be of service to others. Because ethics are important in any type of service that you do. And if you're providing mediumship, you need to make sure that it's evidential, okay? And I'll get more into that in a little bit, but yeah, check out that video if you're interested. Comment, let me know. All right, so moving on to misconceptions, okay? Let's clear a few things up about some misconceptions about mediumship, because there's a lot of confusion and I love to educate. So let's talk about misconception number 1. It's random. No, there's structure. For me, it's identifying the energy, the relationship. Like, this is the energy of your aunt and it feels maternal. Do you understand having a maternal aunt in spirit? Yes? Okay. Then I identify the personality, memories, the message, and I ask for something current that's happening in your life, or something that you're planning in the near future to just solidify everything. Okay? Now there's misconception number 2. It's purely entertainment. In some spaces, yes. But evidential mediumship is about validation and healing, and that's the only mediumship that I work with. All right, let's follow up with misconception number 3. If I don't get a message, it didn't work. That's not true. Mediumship is not a guarantee for every individual in the group setting, and your connection to your loved one does not depend on a public demonstration. All right. And if you've been relying on external validation to feel connected, I want to invite you to schedule a free grief or spiritual consultation with me, because I can help you understand and connect with your loved ones in spirit. Visit my website down in the description to schedule your free consultation call, because this is exactly the deeper work that I do with my clients, helping you build internal trust in your connection, not dependent on external moments. So what does this actually mean for you, right? It means that life never truly ends, it just changes form. That's what mediumship can provide to you on your grief journey. I definitely recommend mediumship readings for my clients that I work with clinically, because I don't offer mediumship to my clinical clients, okay? Because the duality of relationships between client and the clinician. I hold ethics very strongly, okay? Knowing that your loved ones still exist after the change called death can be tremendous in your healing and can help you integrate the change by continuing the bond through your own spiritual development. We're all energetic beings able to connect with energy. Everything is made of energy, but that's a discussion for another time. We're not gonna do that right now. Now I want to invite you to practice this, okay? I want you to place your hand over your heart, and I want you to say, I am still connected, even when I don't see it. Okay? And if you practice this affirmation, please drop a heart down below and tell me if you experienced anything with that. And if you're ready to explore that connection in a deeper, more grounded way, my membership, The Grief Sanctuary, is where I provide exclusive content on how to develop spiritually and have psychologically integrated information. This membership is held within my Substack community, and that link can be found down in the description. Okay? If this changed how you see mediumship, make sure you're subscribed, because I'm going to continue unpacking grief and spirituality in ways most spaces won't. All right? So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your openness, and thank you for allowing your healing to expand. I'll see you next Sunday, or whenever you see the next video. Make sure you're subscribed though. All right? Bye for now.